Once they acknowledge their problem, once they acknowledge that they're like, oh, I got it, I'm sorry, I'll fix it next time, then you separate the behavior from the person. So how would you do that? So you don't attack the person, you respect the person. I know sometimes we have to understand that you don't generalize. If you use the word always, it has to be something for positive. It's the other way around. Obviously, this is the only conversation you exit fast. Exit doesn't mean you cannot continue the conversation. You want to scale your business, you want to double your cash flow, you want to maximize your profit, but your team members screw up. Your team members screw up. What do you do? What do you do? Like, people are supposed to do certain things, but they are not doing the things that they are supposed to do. What do you do? How to give feedback for an employee using these 4 steps. That's what we're going to talk about today. By the end of this video, you will have an exact way that you need to manage your team and how to give them feedback, especially the critical feedback, and how short it should be. You will get an answer for that today. Let's get started. Give it to them straight. So most people sugarcoat all kind of nice, funny sandwiches, blah, 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 versus just tell them, hey, Maran, I asked you to do this thing. You didn't do it. Because of this, we have this much loss. Give it to them straight, like straight. And they have 2 options. One is like, they will come up with excuses, right? They'll come up with, oh, it's because of that person. It's because of this person. It's because of that. And because of the rain, because of the weather, because of the sun, because of something else, because of the marketing thing, the internet was down, the computer was not working, there was a COVID issue, something in family. If people are making excuses, start thinking, are they seriously committed person? I do not want to work with people who make excuses. I want to work with people who take radical responsibility and they say, you know what? It was my fault. I'm sorry. That person will probably do something better next time, right? So if the person is saying that excuses, you actually put that in your mind that this person is probably not belong to your team. So maybe you can teach them how to take responsibility. But let's say if they take responsibility, then it's like they actually feel that, right? They see that, okay, because of you, we lost $2,000. Okay, so we lost $2,000 because of this decision, or $500, $250, or something else translated to your currency. And then all of a sudden they were like, oh, I'm so sorry. And that's the point. You make sure that you encourage them. I'll tell you the structure. You make sure that the conversation is short. There's a book called 1 Minute Manager by Kenneth Blanchard. He talks about making sure that your feedback is not more than 1 minute. If you have an essay written for them about all the 19,000 things that they made a mistake on in the last 20 years, just like you might have heard some grandmas or grandpas talk about it. Remember the time on 1972 when we met for the first time? You're picking your nose? Oh my gosh, ever since. Do you see that? Like if you do something like that, all of a sudden it's annoying for people. So let's not bring other problems here. Let's focus on that particular problem. Make it short. That's the second point. Make it short and sweet, right? So that's really, really important. And then once they acknowledge their problem, once they acknowledge that they're like, oh, I got it, I'm sorry, I'll fix it next time, then you separate the behavior from the person. So how would you do that? You'll do something like, hey, Maran, remember, I asked you to do this thing. I'm just only concerned about this particular action. As a whole, you have been a phenomenal member of my team. I have seen you do amazing things. You did this, you did this, you did that, you did that, you did that. And because of that, I really value you and your presence. This has to be sincere. I'm not asking you to fake it. And when you do that, what happens is they have an identity and a reputation to live up to, the high level of value that they are provided you, and they will fix this behavior or action. So you separate the behavior from the person. Most of the time what happens is like when you're fighting with husband, wife, friend, girlfriend, boyfriend, what is like, I cannot even describe you. I'm disgusted by you. In a sense, if you say something about the person and attack the person, that relationship is gone, right? So you don't attack the person, you respect the person. I know sometimes we do, we are humans, but do our best to make sure that we separate the behavior from the person. Once you separate the behavior, then they can fix it. Let's say they also agree that they have a problem as a person, then they cannot fix it because it's a personality trait. It's a human thing. It's a human error, not a behavior error. Human error is much more difficult. We can fix it, much more difficult to fix. But behavior, it's very easy to change. Do you see the difference? This distinction could entirely change the way you look at management. So the thing is, we need to separate the behavior from the person. And if you use a general term, generalization, a negative generalization will be like, you're always like this. You're always late. Why you are always late? I don't even understand why you are always late. Why you are always with low quality? Why you always make me lose money? It's always not true, right? There's nothing that is always happening. So you need to make sure that you are very sensitive to the person, because there's another human being you're dealing with. Eventually, when you have robots working with you, they wouldn't take it personally. But if you're dealing with a human, you need to understand that you don't generalize. If you use the word always, it has to be something for positive. It's the other way around. You could say that, oh, you made this mistake that we lost $1,000. But I understand, Maran, you're always like somebody who pays attention to stuff, right? What happened? So now the identity, specific behavior. Identity, specific behavior. So which means they could fix something. I don't know. I was not feeling well. Something happened to my family, and then they were confused about, they were arguing everything, and I was confused. I'm so sorry. I'll fix that next time. Do you see that? So now it's very easy to fix the behavior, and then they could move forward. And finally, the longer you talk, the worse it's going to be, right? So when you are in a conversation where you are trying to correct them, you need to exit that conversation as fast as possible. I already said it should be short, but your job is, this is the only conversation you exit fast. Exit doesn't mean you cannot continue the conversation. You need to close the conversation. As in, hey, here is the thing. Lalu, here is the thing. Lalu, I asked you to do the video editing and complete it and upload it to YouTube and do this thing and then send it to the marketing team so that we could promote on Facebook, so that we could get to this like the company premiere event, and get 20,000 people to attend that thing. But you didn't set it. This happened because of that. It cost us $500 as of right now, right? And then they're like, well, I'm so sorry. And if they don't say, I'm so sorry, they start excuses. They need training on how to take responsibility. And if they consistently not take responsibility, my personal recommendation, fire them. But let's say they take responsibility, then you separate their responsibility behavior to human. And you separate the behavior and human, all of a sudden, I could correct the behavior. As a human, I have done. And it's your job to point out to them the right things that they have done, so that they have sincerely show them they have a reputation to live up to, right? And then you show them, this is one thing, and you correct this one. So it's very easy for them to adapt that and move forward and make it short. And that's how you manage and effectively manage your employees and correct them when they make a mistake, reprimand them when they make a mistake, so that you could scale your business, double your cash flow, and maximize your profit starting today.